Whispers in the night.
Oh, what happened?
Whispers in the night. Glances in the dark. Shadows move with fright, leaking out a spark. Eyes behind the walls. Footsteps on the stairs. Echo of the calls. Breathing in cold air. Creeping shadows rise. Cover up the sky. Anxiety lies. Hear the angels cry.
Okay.
I like that.
That was just something new and different. I figured, why not? Hello, the Bud Files. Hello, Finding the Balance. Welcome,
hello.
welcome. So we actually had to move our show. We had to postpone it, but that's okay because you know
Yes.
something. We just found out today. We were supposed to do paranormal equipment, and we were going to have a special guest coming in who's an expert using paranormal equipment and going on ghost hunts, and he was going to talk about all the things. He is going to reschedule for a couple of weeks from now. So
He had
we'll
some medical stuff come up, so he will join us in a couple weeks.
Correct.
So
And since we didn't prepare anything, and we just found out just a couple of hours ago, I said, you know something? Why don't we just make it an open, scary story sort of thing? We could tell our own personal stories. We can hear the stories that you guys have if you want to share. I put the StreamYard link if anybody actually wants to come on camera. You don't even have to show your face. You could keep your camera off. But if you want to talk about anything
like
spooky,
this.
scary, it'll look just like that. Exactly. We'll hear you, but if you want to come on and share your stories, we would love to hear it because Mommy's in the house. Hello,
Hey, Ma.
Mommy. So, what has been happening? Now, first, did anybody notice the new intro?
I like it. And that was the first time I got to see it as well. She was like, do you want to see it beforehand? And I'm like, sure. And then I was like, wait, no, let me be surprised. I loved the song.
Yes. All right. I am becoming obsessed with music right now because I got involved in AI, and I'm using like 5 different AI programs to start doing like videos and this and that. And I'm learning. And this one program, basically all I have to do is say, okay, I'm looking for this. And within 5 seconds, it creates a full length song for me. And it's a fully licensed song. I can do whatever I want with it. It's an individual song. I could change around the lyrics if I want. So it's like I'm becoming obsessed with background music.
And she sent me the link to it, and I keep forgetting to go check it out. So I want to do a new intro for the Shamrock Pixie too. So
I think you will absolutely love it because the music, I mean, it doesn't matter what you put. I mean, there's certain things you can't. Like if you try to do anything that's really controversial, violent, sexual, anything like that, they will automatically reject it. But you can input anything. Like I put in, like, for those of you who don't know, we're starting a new horror podcast. In fact, my first horror podcast is going to be dropping tomorrow on Spotify. It's on Spotify. It's on audiobooks. It's on a whole mess of things. But what we're doing is we're reading horror stories. And so the first episode, we're just doing something easy. We're doing The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. But the next episode is an original story by Maledictus and myself. And then the episode after that, I'm going to be reading. So we've already got 3 episodes lined up, and it's really, really, I'm excited about it. It's just, it takes a lot of... It takes a lot of work. So because I've been doing all this stuff like behind the scenes, I've been getting involved in like different AI things. So it's kind of cool. So you're going to see more spooky stuff coming up.
I really, really liked that intro. And
I tried.
I loved that song.
I try, yes. And that, I mean, the AI actually created a 4-minute song. I just reduced down the song down to a minute. So I
Well,
just, yeah.
I remember when I was doing YouTube a couple of years ago, they were saying that, you know, 5 minutes and under was good for an intro that gives people time to come in, get settled, get their snackies, their drinks, and, you know, then you can start. So maybe we should try that sometime, like do the actual whole song. That way it kind of like gets everybody coming in, the notifications coming up. It's an experiment.
Yeah. Well, that one was 1 minute and 14 seconds. So that's what you guys
liked it.
suffered.
I need a copy of that song just so I can put it on my playlist.
I can give it to you. It's a great song. And like I said, that was only the first 2 chords.
I want the long version.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute. But we've been having fun like creating the horror podcast because like I said, we've been listening to creepypastas, we've been doing videos. I'm now going to take the entire podcast and then put it to a visual and then put it on. That's the idea on that. But we're going to see how that goes. So the first one drops tomorrow. If anybody's interested, I will put the link. I'm going to put the Facebook link because right now, if I give you the link to the Spotify, it's going to say nothing found. So that's the Facebook group. If anybody wants to join in, it's a Maledictus. See that mine is Malfortuna. So I'm Malfortuna, like the bad fortune, and then he's Maledictus, which is like. Oh, Valerie says you're still out camping. Beautiful background.
I am.
Yes, for those of you, that is not a green screen background. She is actually out in the woods. Okay. Oh, don't fall. Don't fall.
I almost fell off the picnic table. No, no, this is camping. I was going to try and go live from the lake. So they have a picnic table with a cover and stuff, and I was gonna go, try to join in through that, but the internet doesn't work very well over there.
Aww.
So I couldn't do that. So you're stuck with this background for now.
That's okay. It's
to go live
beautiful
from over there.
Absolutely beautiful, peaceful. I hear the birds in the background, they're chirping and everything, which almost seems wrong. Like I feel like birds should not be chirping during the.
They're happy around here because I feed them.
She feeds them.
We have one blue jay that we have named Jose after one of Tommy's brothers. We named him Jose, and he actually listens. And every morning he comes up and lands on our pop-up, and he'll knock on the roof. And then he'll hop over to our side where we sleep, and he'll knock again until I get up. And then I come out and I make sure that his soot seed feeder is good. His, bird feeder is good. And then yesterday morning, he decided to join us by the fire. And so, yeah, we spoil him.
It makes you wonder, is there, I don't want to scare you, but is there a force within Jose that maybe he's trying to give you a sign, like a message from... Or do you just not believe that?
From one of Tommy's brothers? Probably, And when I looked at, he literally, when you talk to him, he like,
hello, Pages.
Hello. He turns his head, and it's like he understands what we're saying to him. And he can like fly away, and I will call him. And I'm like, all right, Jose, come on. I got your food out and stuff like that. Cause we've been getting high winds and water, rain and stuff like that. So when the soot block gets wet, it deteriorates. So I try. Oh, speaking of, he's here.
He's here. That would be funny if he comes on camera.
No. I just said his name, and he literally he just landed on the bird.
Like, Jose is in the house.
Camera. I wish I had the webcam that comes up, and then I could show you. But yeah, he just landed on the bird feeder.
That's why I said that's a sign. Animals, I don't care what anybody says. animals, they are attracted, they know what's going on, they communicate in their own way to you. They know when somebody's good or not good. I mean, that's what it is about animals. Animals are like the purest creatures. And
And it's funny because like Tommy puts like hot dogs and sausage links and hamburgers on his boat, and in the morning he'll be like, Jose, your food is on the boat, and Jose will go and eat it.
so, you know something, I think he's one of your spirit animals, or your
I think
familiar.
it's just birds in general.
Yes, that's true. You,
Everywhere I go when it comes to birds, I've had, this is
You're-
no lie, I have actually
bird
had a
whisperer.
seagull greet me, say hello back to me.
that's great. You are the bird
Tommy was
whisperer.
a witness to that. Yep. We were in the parking lot of a Walmart, and there was one sitting up on the light post, and I was like, hello, birdie. And I swear to God, he said hello back. Even Tommy heard it. And I was like, did he just say hello back? What?
If anybody, this is just something interesting involving communication with animals. And these, you can do your own research on this, but this is like an aside. It is actually illegal to communicate with dolphins and whales in the open, in the open sea.
ocean?
Yeah. And I'm not talking about those enclosed dolphins where you swim with the dolphins or something like that, because those are what do you call it? They're like captured. I'm talking about dolphin domesticated or whatever it is. It's like they're caught in the aquarium or whatever. I'm talking
Right.
about out in the ocean. It is illegal for like scientists to do experiments on them. You need a special permit to do that, or a
Yep.
scientist to do any type of
A marine
communication.
biologist.
Yes.
But
And-
most marine biologists don't care. They'll do it if they, it's just, it is what it is. And for somebody to tell you that it's illegal to communicate with animals, regardless of what they are,
Well, this
this
is
made them God.
right. This is specifically dolphins and whales, and there's a eclectic sea theory. You know, we talk about sea theory sometimes. I can't say the word here because then I get flagged. But the theory behind it is that dolphins and whales, they all can communicate no matter what. They're all interconnected. So if you're talking to one, you're talking to all of them as like a massive collective. And they're trying to say that dolphins and whales are so higher above on another spiritual plane and another level of intelligence that we're not ready for the stuff that they have to say to us. So that's the
They
whole.
can tell us if there's really mermaids and stuff in the water.
They know exactly what's going on. So that's the weird theory about that, if you believe it. But just on the end, it's like, why is something like that? I mean, always question something. Why is it illegal to communicate with sea life? Makes you wonder.
I could say, but I'm not going to.
Oh, you're just gonna say so you don't kill them or hurt them or be.
No, I was going to say because the government controls everything.
Oh yeah, we know that. We absolutely know.
Just saying.
They want to be in control of everything. Yes. So tonight we are going to be discussing our own personal stories. I know Des has lots of stories. I have lots of stories. I am sure that people out in the audience has lots of stories, which if you want to share it, you can either type it in the chat or you can actually hit the link that's on the top and come on the show. We would love to hear it. We just want to hear what kind of stories out there. Any type of paranormal, scary stories, ghost stories, I don't know, life after death experiences, things that just are totally unexplainable, Mandela effects. If you have some Mandela effects you want to talk about, it's an open-ended thing right now.
You know, I mean, it's like an open chat for the most part. But so another reason why I wanted to go and do the live from the water, by the water, is because it was either last year or the year before. Tommy and I were on the lake, and I don't know if I told this story or not yet. I have so many of them, and I get them all. I always forget which ones I share. But there was a boat on the water, Now the sun's going down, so it was safe for me to be on the water, do our little nightly cruise on the boat, and it looked like a spotlight. And then next thing you know, it's gone. Like the whole boat just vanished, like it was never there.
Oh, so it was like a mystery ghost ship out in the sea.
Yep. Yep. You hear weird like tugboats, like the old tugboat type horns. Yeah, it's weird. Like one summer there was probably, I don't know, 20 different reports of people hearing it across the lake and nobody could figure out what it was. Tommy believes he knows what it was. However, I don't know for sure. I just know that Petenwell has two towns underneath it. And so, and then Castle Rock actually has 3
Interesting.
different towns. Yeah, there's silos in the middle. There's a silo over by what they call the Lure, which is like a bar and grill type place, and you can pull up in your boat and stuff like that. They actually have it marked on a map, the silo that's in the water, because it's pretty close to the surface of the water.
Now, do they have a history on the silos, or is it something that they've always been
towns. There? Yeah, it was just towns that they evacuated so that they can make Petenwell and Castle Rock Dam or the lakes.
Now, I'm curious, is that between 1820 to 1920 that they evacuated those silos? I'm just curious.
No, I don't, do some research on that.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but like I said, we eventually have to have this discussion. History does not make sense between 1820 and 1920. It does not.
Right. Right. I mean, and I don't know for sure. I'd definitely have to look into it, but it's interesting because, like, we have our sonars on Tommy's boat, and one of his sonars is really good. Like, you can see structures and stuff like that. It's got all different types of. It's an expensive one, and we were on the first trip that he took me on the lake. We were over, just going, I think, right into the harbor, and there was a house. You could see the structure of a house down in the water.
Ooh,
and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And I kept telling him, he was like, okay, what are you feeling? And I'm like, I don't know. You need to go over that way. I'm like,
so basically, when they built the dam, it destroyed whatever town it was with the water and everything. And now
the water completely. Yeah, because what they did was they evacuated everybody, relocated them, and then they bought the land, and then they turned it into Petenwell Lake. So
see, that would happen. I mean, if anything ever happens to the Hoover Dam, that's seriously what's going to happen. There's going to be dozens of communities and townships that will be destroyed completely underwater, and it would be devastating. So
yeah, as long as they evacuate everybody, it is what it is. But God, the Hoover Dam's been around forever, and shoot, I don't know, that place I'd like to actually go and check out, because I've heard that it's haunted from the people that passed away while building it.
And why are there so many Egyptian artifacts?
I don't know. I've never been there. Like,
I've never been there either. But that's the question: is why are there Egyptian artifacts at the Hoover Dam?
Yeah, that is a good question. But I don't know. I've never heard that one. But I know that, like, when we go back to Nevada, that's one place I want to check out. And I also want to check out, was it Mead Lake or whatever over by Vegas? That keeps going down. And then they're finding remains.
Oh, is that news? I heard recently. I don't know what the lake is.
They found
that they're finding shoes, like women's shoes, and serial killer stuff. And
I don't know. The last I heard, they found, I think, 6 remains. different
Oh,
remains. And a few of them might be tied to the bosses down there, the old bosses that were down there. So that should be fun.
yeah, I was watching it and I don't have the information, but there was some hiker that was going over to like a lake spot, and the
I
lake
am
is
here. I'm
so.
just got
Oh,
to
no
my camera.
problem. It's slowly receding because of drought and stuff like that. And what's being uncovered are women's shoes, and it's
Yeah, I
really
don't
really
know if
creepy.
it's that one.
And the
I
FBI
know. So I
is
know
going to
they
start
found
investigating.
boats. Right. So I know that they found a bunch of boats that sank. They found a barrel with remains in it. And then they found a couple other things. But for a while, nobody could actually go on there because of the fact that it was going down so much. And so I don't know if it's lifted. But then Death Valley now has a lake.
And it's, I know that's really strange. It's completely dried out, but yet water is all of a
Yep.
sudden.
Well, when they had that big concert there, tons of people were stranded because of the water that came up. So there was tons and tons of people stranded.
Burning Man.
Yes.
Yeah, the Burning Man thing. They have the Burning Man every year, and what ended up happening was thousands of people were stranded because it flooded out in the middle of a desert. That's the
Hmm.
problem. Is this was in the desert, and the desert turned to completely mud, and they couldn't
Right.
get out
Well,
there.
it wasn't even just mud. There's actually a lake there. People are going kayaking on it and stuff like that. I've seen pictures. I read the articles and stuff. What and it's the driest place in the United States, if not the world.
Which begs the
So
question. I mean, this is leading to the whole climate change, global warming. Now, I will be honest, I'm not on the side of global warming. However, things are changing. Tornado Alley. This was just reported. Tornado Alley has shifted from the Oklahoma area. It's now shifting over to Louisiana area. So, like where the Gulf of Mexico is now going to be a completely different Tornado Alley. The fact that the waters are warming up. If anybody, I'm from New York, so I follow the story. New Jersey Shore right now, if you ever gone to New Jersey Shore where Atlantic City is, or where like the MTV show Jersey Shore, the water has always been this ugly, murky, greenish, dark color. Like you never went swimming in New York, New Jersey. You never went swimming in a beautiful blue ocean. You went swimming in a dark green, almost black type ocean. Well, now it looks like the Caribbean. You go to the Jersey Shore, the water is completely clear right now. And people are like, this has never, ever happened in Jersey. Why is the water crystal clear? Why can you actually see your feet at the bottom going swimming? Now, one of the things is the water is much warmer than it used to be, but this is a strange anomaly. And I mentioned to my mom, I said, Ma, you need to go to the beach. I want to know if Long Island, if the water is still that ugly, murky color, or is this beautiful? Because I'm like, I want videos of this. So who knows what is going on, but things are definitely changing. Climates are changing. We're getting wacky weather. I mean, you're getting storms where you wouldn't be getting, and you're getting tornadoes where you normally wouldn't get. They just had snow the other day at one of the forts, and it's like we're in June and it's snowing. So what is going on with the weather? Is it manipulation or is this natural?
yeah, I don't know. I might have to pause or mute here and there
Okay,
because
no, that's fine.
loudness.
If you're muting, that's fine. I will just keep on talking. But if anybody does have a story to share, I guess I guess I should start off with the story, and then when if you want to share a story, because I know we all have stories, but I think one of the creepiest stories that I probably ever have. I mean, I have quite a number of creepy stories, but it actually had to involve a set of friends of mine. Whenever they were a married couple, man and a woman, they were married, obviously. Whatever happened was every time I was around this couple, I always felt like there was like a spirit, an entity, a dark force that was attached to them. And it drove me crazy. I mean, even when talking to them, I felt like I was talking to, and it was always attached to them. I never saw it or felt it anywhere else. But there's a whole creepy story behind this couple because the one guy believed that he called himself the bringer of death. He's like, I'm the bringer of death. And his wife referred to herself as the Spider Queen because she always, and that was one thing that I always felt when I was around them, is I always felt like that there were spiders crawling all over me, like, you know, that itchy feeling like things are crawling all over you. But I felt like was this entity attached to them. And I spoke with a couple of people in regards to this. I'm like, look, this couple freaks me out every time I'm with them. I feel like, so a Wiccan high priestess said to me, she actually gave me a quartz crystal, and she said to me, water is going to be your savior. And I'm like, water? She says, just trust me, water is your savior on this. And it was amazing because we were involved in like community and social events. We would have to go to like board meetings, business meetings, stuff like that. And like I said, every time I saw this couple, they just creeped me out. One of the things that was weird was anytime we went to a restaurant, I would always put water in between me and them. And if I put water in between me and them, then everything was fine. There was like nothing that would, like, I wouldn't feel the negative. But as soon as I moved the water away, or if the water, like I drank the water or something like that, then I would feel that presence again. And to this day, I can't explain it. I don't know, because I've never felt it with anybody else in my life. I've never seen anything like that, with the exception from this couple. So it made me wonder, okay, is there a demon attached? Is there a ghost attached? Is it they are summoning things? Never understood it. So that's one of my weird stories. And it makes me wonder, like, do people have entities that attach to them and stay with them and give off negative energy to others? That's a good question. I really don't know. So I don't know.
I just was looking up when you were talking about that because I was curious on what your element was.
Mine should be air.
Yep, you are air.
Gemini is air. Yes.
Yep. And so I was just curious to see.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with how one element affects others. I would love to read up on that, but I'm wondering, is water the counter to air? I mean, I thought water was the counter to fire, but I'm not too sure how that works.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Do you hear that loud squawking?
Yeah, it sounds like a crow or something in the background.
It's a bird.
He's screaming.
Yeah, he's not happy.
Why isn't he happy? He has no food?
No, there's plenty of food. I don't know what's going on with him. I can't really look up and see, but so that's what that noise is.
You know, I want to say, like, quote the raven, nevermore.
Well, you know, we have out here.
It sounds like we hear it. It sounds like someone's being murdered or something.
Yeah, the neighbors too were like, that's a bird. And at night you hear birds that sound like monkeys. Like when the sun's just going down, it sounds like a group of monkeys in the trees.
Oh, jeez. But you know, so it's so beautiful out there. It's peaceful. You got the birds singing. You got the birds.
Oh, that's like because it's a big bird that's crying because the little birds are going after him.
Aw. He's getting beat up. He's getting bullied by the tiny birds. They don't want him in the area. They want him out of.
He's more than welcome to be here, just as like the rest of them.
They're probably protecting their young or protecting their nest or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That was crazy.
Oh, the baby.
I mean, it happens, but
I'm taking care of the little baby. I got my little baby right here next to, not a real baby, it's my puppy. He's being spoiled. But. So do you have...
You know, back to what you were saying. Yeah, I was looking it up, and that it's interesting that they said water. But if you were saying that they said that there something about bringer of death and something about a spider thing.
Yeah, they had this whole thing. I mean, there's other stories involving them. Particularly, there's a crystal story where they showed me their crystal that they had, and it was supposed to be a smoky quartz, but that's not the crystal that I saw when they showed it to me. Because when they showed it to me, it was literally a black crystal. But then
Oh,
when they, but,
that's because it absorbed a lot of dark and bad energy.
but the second time that they showed me, it actually was a clear crystal with brown in it. And I'm like, that's not the same crystal you showed me earlier. And they're like, yes, it is.
It was probably cleansed. They probably
So,
cleansed it in the moon, full
but
moon.
but still, I've never seen a crystal go from extreme black to clear with brown in it.
Well, that happens with moonstone or bloodstone too.
Okay,
Um, so bloodstone is green and it's got red veins. But if you use it, the red veins grow.
interesting.
So when you cleanse it in the moon, in a full moon, those red lines, those veins will get small again, and sometimes they'll completely disappear until you need to use that stone again. I love bloodstone. That's one of my favorite crystals and stones and stuff like that. And that's the one that I'm drawn to, even though my birthstone is amethyst. Bloodstone is the one that I just absolutely love. It's what calls to me. It's what I have a lot of them, um, and so but each person is different, and people who study the craft or the elements or anything along those lines, pagan, Wiccan, and stuff like that, sometimes they'll go based on what their birthstone is and stuff like that, but it's honestly whatever stone or crystal calls to you is the one that you're supposed to have, and it doesn't matter. But that's why I was really curious on the whole, why would she say water when you're an air sign?
Interesting. I just looked up. I see. I didn't know what my birthstone is, so I just looked it up, and I actually have three birthstones for June. It's either pearl, alexandrite, and moonstone. Are the three. So,
Moonstone is pretty too.
so I don't know how that, because I've never really been into gemstones, crystals, or anything like that. So I don't know how that affects with that, because you were saying how yours is amethyst, but you're drawn to the bloodstone.
Yep.
I was just curious, like what stones mine were. So pearl, alexandrite, and moonstone is June.
Right. And it also depends. The reason why, everybody's got, I think, three or four. And I think it depends on which belief that you believe in will depend on which stone
But
would be
see,
your actual birthstone.
I think what's okay, just to extrapolate it, in order to get pearl, it has to be in the water. So pearls are created by like
Right.
oysters. So maybe that's where the water comes in with June. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I would need to, I think I would want to hear more about them. I mean, I know you've told me a few of the stories, but I think knowing a little bit more about them and the situation that was going on, like more detail. I mean, I know you don't have to do detail live, but
Right.
I think that would explain it more with why she would say water.
Right. And I, at the time, I knew absolutely nothing about this stuff. I mean, obviously,
No.
this happened, I would say, like 15 years ago, maybe even more than 15
Right.
years ago. So, I mean, this was like early on. It wasn't even a phase to me. Now, at least I have more of an understanding. I have more of an
Mhm.
appreciation for the unknown or the strange or the unusual. But back then,
Right.
I had no idea what was going on. I was
Right.
clueless.
And like, okay, so I'm a Pisces. You would think that I would love water,
Fish, yeah.
but I'm actually terrified of water. If I can't see my feet, I can't go into the water. And so, which is unusual, but I had a very unusual experience in water. So, you know, that's where my fear of water comes from. I actually had, it's kind of going to sound funny, but I did the whole let's see if we can figure out your past life thing.
Oh, Okay, how'd you do that?
where they put you. Well, they try to put you under, and I don't know. I don't remember getting put under, like hypnotized or whatever you want to call it. But that when I opened my eyes, they said that I had drowned in a couple of my past lives. So that could also contribute to the whole fear of water thing, because they say when you have a past life, if something traumatic happens during that, then you are scared of it in your next life. And so like it's kind of weird, but I did have it done. It was very weird. I felt like I just closed my eyes, heard them talking, and then opened my eyes, and that was it.
I I could share a story. I mean, because you touched upon a topic that I never really told anybody, but I'm gonna share the story.
You're gonna
I
share it live on YouTube.
I'm sharing a lot of story because I actually, with 7 other friends, this actually happened. We ended up getting a hotel room for a convention. It was a 3-day hypnosis convention. And we got a
Ooh,
hotel suite with 7 of us, which was actually amazing. Like we got the top floor, like really, it was nice.
penthouse.
Yeah. This was an amazing experience. I mean, just I've never been in such a luxurious hotel room before. Like it had its own
Mhm.
kitchen. It had, I mean, and we each, and because there were 7 of us, it didn't matter the price because we paid what we normally would pay for just a regular one, but instead we
Right.
got like the penthouse. So
That's cool.
it's a 3-day hypnosis convention. Now, half of us are skeptics. I, at the time, was a skeptic. I'm like, I don't believe in hypnosis shit. This isn't real. It's all in the mind. Let me just tell you, after this 3-day hypnosis convention, I, I'm a believer. Completely changed my life because the one thing I watched my friends get hypnotized. So one of my friends, they hypnotized her for the weekend to convince her that she was what do you call it, the Smurfette. So she was insisting the entire weekend that she is Smurfette. So
Oh lordy, that had to have been funny.
for me, I'm not going to say what the words are, but they took out specific words from my vocabulary for the weekend. So there were certain words I was not allowed to say. I could not that I wasn't allowed to say, but I couldn't say it. I would try to formulate my words and instantly, and the reason I don't want to say those words is because I don't want like a trigger or anything like that where once
Right. You
again,
don't know if you're still hypnotized or not.
exactly, because I worry about these things. I really do. So
Right.
for that weekend, those specific words were completely erased from my vocabulary, and it's as if even if I tried to say it, I would stutter the words and come out with a completely different word. And this is me. I'm completely skeptic. I'm like, I don't believe in hypnosis bullshit. I really don't. Um, I will say, one of the evenings there was a dinner greeting get together, that sort of thing, and I was put under as one of the main highlight shows. They did put me under. I will be honest, I don't remember what happened that evening at all. They
Oh
had to
jeepers.
they had to explain it to me the next day, and I couldn't believe it. So part of me to this day is like, okay, were my friends messing around with me? Or, but then when other people in the audience like came up to me the next morning and was like, oh my god, that was unbelievable. That was this and that. The problem is I don't remember anything. Like what
Right.
happened, and that to me is scary. It's like when you have a chunk of your mind just gone,
Disappear.
and everybody's telling you that you did this, you did that, you did this. it's it's scary.
Well, they have so around here they have these little hypnosis like convention things where you can go in and you pay so much to quit smoking or lose weight, or what was the other one? I can't remember what the other one is. Those are the two that I remember off the top of my head. And I'm like, my mom's like, you should do this. I'm like, maybe not, because I do not want to sound like a chicken every time somebody says a certain word. You know, that's my thing. Is I don't, I don't
I
think I can do it.
before I will say this: before the convention, I was the type of person that says it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I was. I'm like, it's not real. People, it doesn't work, or this or that. And then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they're just acting and doing this. I will tell you from my experience: A, I was not acting. B, I don't remember what the hell happened during that time. Like, it is out of my mind completely, and that's what's scary. And it also makes me wonder what other things were implanted during that time, because
Right.
one of the things is they did help me with a specific I had a private session with one of the experts, and they did help me with a specific trauma that I had. And I am grateful and thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes me wonder, if that was done, what else was done during that weekend?
Right. Yeah. See, I ain't gonna have nobody mess with my head like that. I have enough issues. I don't need no more.
And what makes it even amazing is I had my friends with me. Like, we were all talking about this in the hotel room. Like, what the hell happened to us?
And I don't know. Maybe I'd be too scared that they would do something weird. You know. Oh, he's back. Hi,
Oh,
Jose.
Jose's back.
Um, he
It's a
yeah.
sign.
I don't know. Yeah. He's not happy because, well, I mean, I have the slip block out, but he keeps landing on the bird feeder, but it keeps spinning on him.
Aw.
He's a big boy, and he's a really big boy. Here, I'll even show you pictures of him. I do have pictures of him.
Hopefully we can see it. Like, yeah, if you hold it up to the. There's a pretty bluebird. I'm singing that song. Bluebird, bluebird in my window. Ah. But yes, hypnosis, while you're getting the pictures, hypnosis is something not that. Oh, look at him. Oh, he has some attitude there. He's like, look at me, take my picture.
Yeah, that was when I was talking to him.
He's a
See
happy
how
bird.
big he is? Yeah,
Hmm.
but see how big he is?
Makes me wonder where his partner is. Have you seen his partner yet?
Mm-mm.
Sometimes they're hard to see because the females aren't blue like that. They're like grayish brown.
He, he really truly is something. Oh, and I did get a picture of him. This is kind of a creepier picture, but that was just as he was flying, lifting off to fly. He's just hovering.
Yeah, that's cute. You could see his like legs just off the ground.
Yeah, and then if I would have had my camera the right way, see if I can find it. I would
So
have gotten him in mid-flight.
So I am going to toss this out while we're looking at pictures. If anybody has a story, you don't have to come on camera. If you just want to type it in the chat, we would love to hear any spooky, supernatural, scary stories. Oh, you could see his wings flapping.
Yep. If I would have had my phone sideways instead of up and down, I would have gotten him in flight.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
so mad about that.
We would love to hear your stories as well. I mean, it's
Heck
on,
yeah.
but I have to say that hypnosis convention changed my life completely.
Yeah.
And part of me wants to go back to it. Like, I want to go to and see what happens after all these years. But there were some world renowned hypnotherapists, and it was just this amazing time. And like I said, one of my past traumas was actually helped because I had a problem. I'm not going to get into details, but I had a problem that needed to be addressed, and they helped me
Right.
through that problem. So,
And that's cool. I
but
mean, I guess you really would have to try to, you would have to build that trust in somebody for hypnosis. Um, I just don't know if I could do it. I mean, I honestly don't know if this person was making up stuff or whatever for me, but I don't feel like I was hypnotized or put into a trance or whatever you want to call it. I So I don't know. I'm one of those ones that are kind of skeptical, or I'm a skeptic when it comes to that stuff too. So I don't know. It would be interesting, but at the same time, I'm like, no, I'm okay.
I
I think I'll pass.
I mean, I get leery of the ones that are like the stage presence where like they snap their fingers and immediately the person like falls over and starts doing things. Um they tried to do that during the weekend and it really wasn't successful. What was
Right.
more successful was when you sat a person down and then did the whole one-on-one talking through it, relax, get into the mode.
Right.
I mean, nobody just snapped their fingers and fell over. So,
Yeah,
and
those are the like TV versions, I guess you could
right.
say.
And I mean, like I said, even during that weekend, that didn't happen on stage or anything like that. What actually happened was you actually had to sit down, focus on the breathing. I mean, eventually
Right.
you did drift off. But to me, it's scary that I don't remember what happened. Don't,
Yeah, that would be a
don't
little
remember.
tricky for me. Like I said, I have enough things I got to worry about than to worry if somebody put me under. And now every time somebody says a certain word, I cluck like a chicken, or I do some weird stuff. So yeah, not my thing.
Or you'd be running around acting like Smurfette.
Right? That would not be okay for
Oh,
me.
that was
I'd
so,
probably get that done, and then all of a sudden somebody will say a word, and I cut all my hair off or something. I'm
that
like,
was I mean, I shouldn't make fun of her, but she was literally like running through the hallways going la 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 singing this.
wow.
And she had no idea. We're cracking up laughing like every time she la la la. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's trippy to me. That's really trippy.
But that's what they did to her. She was Smurfette for the weekend. And me, I just had certain vocabulary stripped from I couldn't say anything. Like I
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm golden. Thanks. Absolutely golden.
oh man. But it makes me wonder if I can. I mean, I don't know. I want to go. I just want to go back for the experience. I want to try it
Yeah,
again. Now that things are so much different now, I want to go back.
right.
So
I mean, I can see it, but I don't know how successful the hypnosis would be because I really don't know anybody who has ever been under hypnosis for losing weight or quit smoking or quit drinking or anything like that. And I don't know, I suppose I'd have to talk to some people who have experienced it before I would go and do it.
that
So,
would probably help me. I need
well,
some hypnosis on that.
because quitting smoking is really hard, and so I've tried a couple different ways of trying to quit, and it's too hard. I got too much stress, and it's what keeps my stress levels the best that I can get them. And so it's not a healthy way to do it, but
But that's also the power
yeah,
and compulsion of addiction. And I mean, that's another thing. It's like what causes us to have these specific type of addictions to begin with? Like
yeah, I
why?
don't know.
Yeah, it's totally a mind body spirit thing that's all interconnected that you can't help yourself.
Right.
So,
Yeah, exactly. I tried that Chantix stuff. It worked for a short time and then went right back to smoking. So, and men, I do not recommend men using Chantix at all because it messes with the chemicals in their brain and they get mean. A lot of men that I've talked to that have been on Chantix got mean who were not mean.
wow.
Yeah.
So it
So
affects.
it affects men differently than women. Men, it makes them more prone to be violent or to be just mean verbally, stuff like that, and make them out of character. So,
And see,
and
that's
that
what
is a true story.
And that's not good if they have a mean personality or violent personality to begin with. If it's just
Right.
going to exaggerate, I was
Exactly.
I will
Exactly.
say this. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if people read like local news and weird happenings and stuff like that. But the stories that are coming out of the craziness that people are doing to each other, it's just I I feel like society is completely going off the deep end and they can't function anymore. Like I don't know that Brianna Ellis story, if anybody's following that. She basically was a woman that went crazy in the grocery store and decided to stab a toddler with his mother. She killed the
Oh,
toddler.
yep. I just saw that. Yep.
Okay, she killed the toddler, badly injured the mother. She just went for her hearing to plead. She was cracking up laughing the entire time. She thought it was the funniest thing. So there's like absolutely no remorse. They're all saying, "Oh, she's going to get away with mental, where you're not guilty due to mental insanity or stuff like that."
Yeah.
But it's so sad. Like, what is causing people to just go crazy?
I don't know, but I was just, yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what's wrong with people, but I was reading, I'm trying to find the story that I was reading. It's under, so on Facebook, you have like different groups and stuff. Well, I belong to one for Wisconsin. It's called Strange Wisconsin. And I'm trying to find, I thought I bookmarked it. I don't have a bookmark, but I thought it'd be fun to share that one today. But I can't seem to find it because it's not
Oh
in my book.
no.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. But has anybody out there heard about the lights that at night that I think there's like 8 of them, like in a straight line, but people always are confusing them as UFOs.
Okay. No,
It's
I haven't.
actually Starlink.
Oh, is it the web link from Elon Musk?
Yeah, it's the satellites for the internet. But in Strange Wisconsin, people are constantly saying, "Oh, it's such and such time," and it's at the same time every night, maybe an hour off, maybe not. Roughly around the same time, I should say. And yeah, every time I turn around, somebody's like, "Did you guys see the aliens in the sky last night?" No, dear, that was just Starlink. But no, it was a really good read and um, pretty interesting. But
Well, with
yeah,
all that's been happening with I have a feeling people are going to see a lot more strange lights happening, a lot more strange sky anomalies. Particularly the north. I mean, the northern lights have been going crazy. So,
yes, yep. We just got a thing saying that they're going to be visible again within the
yeah,
next week.
which is unheard of. How, I mean, okay, Texas was able to see the northern lights a couple weeks ago. How is that possible? The northern lights have always been like an Arctic circle sort of thing, like all the way up north. How is
I
it
mean,
that
we've seen, up north for us,
Mhm.
um, people have seen the northern lights, but not even where we're at have people seen the northern lights. Um, so for it to reach Texas, it reached down to Florida, the Florida Keys.
yeah.
People could see it
Oh,
down in the Florida Keys.
absolutely. And that's unheard of. That should
Yeah.
not it should not happen at all.
Well, they're saying it's like some solar storm or something that's going on. And I'm
Mhm.
like, huh, interesting. So you sit there and you think about that solar storms, big bursts of these storms are going on around Earth. Or I used to watch a lot of those disaster movies, like the
Mhm.
end of the world disaster movies. And then it makes you stop and think with all these solar storms that they're talking about, that so you can see the northern lights, um, weird things going on in the sky. And I'm like, are we gonna have one of those moments where it's gonna be a real life disaster end of the world movie or what?
Well, they keep announcing the doomsday map of the United States, where they're
Yeah.
showing that what happens if Antarctica melts and the water comes up where the map is, and it's
I
rather.
haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen? Look it up. It's called Doomsday Map. I'll pull it up right now.
Doomsday map.
Yes. Here it is. Let me get a big. That's not a good
Well,
map.
looks like Wisconsin's safe.
Okay, so let me pull this up. This way everybody could see it. All right, present, share screen. Right there, share. Okay, so this is the Doomsday Map. And if you notice, pretty much California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Oregon, gone. Like they're underwater. The Mississippi River, which we talked about with the Missouri River, it opens up all the way to Texas. Louisiana's gone. Arkansas is half gone. Missouri's right here. So you're pretty much safe over there.
Michigan is almost completely gone.
Yep, Michigan gone. The Great Lakes are just going to expand. Look at the entire coastline. The entire coastline, everything's gone. Like not the full state, but like okay, like Long Island is gone, Jersey's gone, Washington D.C. gone. Part
What
of me
is that land?
I don't know. I think
Right
that's just,
there.
I think that's just a mistake in the. I don't know what that is. It's on all the maps though, like all the other maps. Oh wait, here it is. What does this map say? Atlantis. They're saying Atlantis and Lemuria are going to be exposed when all the water recedes. Did that come up on the?
When water receipts.
Yes. So in other words, the water is receding into over the land over here. So it's going to expose Atlantis and Lemuria. And those are two very, very interesting theories. If you want to read about those two countries, read up about Atlantis and read up about Lemuria.
Huh.
But it also look at like the Caribbean. Cuba's gone, Bahamas is gone, everything is gone. So that's what they're saying. This is what's going to happen when the water rises, that it's going to be shifting off onto the land and it's going to be exposing other places.
Well, that looks like Alabama's safe, Mississippi, dang it. No. Wisconsin's safe, most of Florida is safe.
Texas is safe.
But the hospital I was born at in Florida, it's gone, according to this map.
Yeah. And this is what they're saying. They're saying that
Yeah.
this is what global warming is going to cause. Now, I almost want to think, I mean, okay, yes, it could be global warming, but if they're preparing a map like this already, what if it's all generated warfare, that they are manipulating the weather and this is exactly what they want to happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know.
Like, okay, so I know. Oh, I was gonna say something, but no, I don't remember what I was gonna say. It like came into my head and then went right back out real quick. So I guess I don't know because I don't remember what I was gonna say. Yeah, I lost it.
It disappeared.
Yeah, it went poof, poof. Go figure.
Well, the fact is, there
Oh,
are. Oh, go
this
ahead.
is what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
So, you know, if all this stuff is gonna happen, like, you know, if you watch every form of end of the world disaster movies, it's all the big cities that go down first.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the heavy. That's where most of the population is. There's huge numbers of people in the city.
Correct.
That's why I don't want to live in the city. I want to live out in the country, up on a mountain where people leave me alone.
In the middle of nowhere.
Middle
I
of
mean-
nowhere with a big old fence around me, compound fence. I'm golden.
Think about back to the Georgia Guidestones, which are now currently destroyed. They destroyed the Guidestones, so they're no longer in Georgia. But the prediction on there is that the world needs to be reduced down for an optimal population of 500,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane. Do you, and that's what people are saying is that they want to take away 90% of the population. That's what they want to do.
I mean,
90
if you watch these different movies, like you watch them, California and Florida, well, mostly California, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's completely gone. That's
Mhm.
like one of the major places that goes first is California. That's why you will never catch me moving or living in California. Um, Inland is best. Outland, nope. I'm good. I watched a documentary. Okay, so this is something completely off this particular topic. I actually watched a documentary on the 117 colonists that disappeared.
Oh, Roanoke you're talking about? The
Um,
Roanoke.
is that down in South Carolina?
Somewhere around there, yes.
Yeah.
There were colonists and all they Croatoa was written on the tree.
Yeah, there was like a symbol or something. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, did you know? Okay, so what I was watching in this documentary is that they're finding out, and they left it at a cliffhanger. They're doing DNA tests now on people in the area with the same last name as the settlers that were there that disappeared.
Okay, and they're
How
matching?
they're doing it and being able to trace it back, the way they were explaining it is if they have Native American blood, a certain percentage of Native American blood, and European settler blood from back then,
So they merged with the Native
determine
Americans of the area?
determine if these the settlers disappeared or they went to different tribes for help.
I mean, I almost believe that. I don't believe they just vanished out of thin air. I believe that times were tough. They ended up going with the different, even if they were like slaves or they mingled
Right. So
relationships. I mean,
so they were also talking about the coastline. The coastline back then was different than it is now. So now what they're doing is they're actually going into the ocean and doing like sand sifting
okay.
and into the ocean because the coastline actually has shrunk since that time.
So it's
So
exposing more land.
no, the coastline is shrunk. The ocean has gotten close,
Right. So
big.
it's exposing land that they could now dig
No,
up.
no, they're actually going into the water, scuba
Okay.
diving and sifting through
Oh, okay.
the sand. And they're actually finding different artifacts.
Interesting.
But they're not sure if some of the artifacts that they have found is from that time yet because they're still doing all their like scientific research and stuff. And let me tell you, I was hooked on that documentary. But yeah, they're doing DNA tests. They're doing the carbon dating, I think is what it's called, on the artifacts that they have found. And they're actually going into the ocean scuba diving, sifting the sand for these artifacts.
And that's what it is.
So,
They're going to find things that are a lot older than what they initially thought.
and
That's
I
what.
thought that was pretty cool because if you think about it, now we're used to it, the coastlines being the way they are now. Most people don't realize, like I didn't realize, that the coast is always changing. So hi Jose.
Oh, they
And
back.
he is back. So I didn't, they always talk about how these 117 settlers disappeared without a trace, but nobody ever thought in the time from when they disappeared to now, until recently, they never realized that the coastline changed. So these scientists, so it's always been a mystery. So these archaeologists and scientists and stuff actually went into the water, scuba diving, searching, and they're actually starting to find things. But they did leave off with the whole DNA from they're trying to get people from that area to do the DNA test. They've only done a couple, and one of them, they're like, they got the DNA test, but they didn't tell us the results.
Now, is this a series that's going to continue, or
I
are they
don't
just
know. That's and I can't remember if it's on Paramount Plus or if it's on Hulu. But I was watching it on one of those, and it's in my watch history. So I actually have to mosquito. I actually have to go in and see for sure what stupid mosquitoes.
that I'm already getting itchy already because I can't stand mosquitoes. They keep biting me. This is a bad season of mosquitoes for me. So
Yeah,
I
they're
am
horrible.
I am literally mosquito food.
Let me see if I can find the name of the documentary. Um,
Oh yeah, I love watching things like that.
and then maybe I can share it in here. Um, I know there's
But
a
yeah,
history.
it sounds like the Lost Colony of Roanoke, and like I said, one of the
Okay.
weirdest things on it was the fact that the only thing that was left was carved on the tree said Croatoa,
Yep.
and nobody knows what Croatoa means. Like they don't know if
Right.
it's a place, if it's an incantation, if it's a meaning, if it's a person. Nobody knows what that means.
Right. Yeah, I can't. The computer is being all silly. So um, I'll see if I can find that documentary and then I can share it next week, the link to it. But it was a very interesting documentary. And I mean, I know we were talking about ghost stories and stuff like that, our personal experience, but kind of off tilted here. But I mean, it's kind of along the same lines because so many people for so many years thought that they just vanished, and they might now have new documentation or new evidence that they didn't just vanish, that they went to friendly tribes and got help and not hostile tribes, because I guess there was a difference back then.
Well,
So
that's another thing with like as far as history, there were so many different tribal groups and they were all at war with each other. I mean, it's almost as if they paint
right.
history in such a bad way that Europeans coming over here, oh, they were savages, they were this. No, they were very advanced civilizations. They had their own structure, they had their own laws and everything like that.
Mhm.
And the fact that, I mean, history is rewritten by the winners. The fact that they wiped out most of the tribes is sad.
Sickening.
Yeah. And of
And
course,
you know the thing is too is they're the ones that taught the settlers to, however you say it, um, to farm, to grow their own food, to survive in this land. And so
so
it's very
the
frustrating to
thank you
me.
is to give them polio or whatever, syphilis, whatever they decide to give them. And
It's heartbreaking, and history tends to repeat itself when you change it to suit what fits you and not the truth, because you can't learn from your mistakes if you don't know what those mistakes were.
absolutely, that's true.
So we actually have, this is kind of cool too. I learned this the other day because a friend of mine out here posted a picture of a grave. It's on the tombstone or on the gravestone. It says Indian baby from the
Okay.
1800s,
Interesting.
from the early 1800s. So when people were coming from the colonies and traveling over, um, there was a family who had a baby daughter. So they got to this area. Now, the area that we are in now was Ho Chunk Nation. Okay. And there was a mom who had lost her baby boy. And the settlers, they lost their baby girl. So the Ho Chunk was pushed off this land. And what ended up happening was they had buried, this mother buried her baby. And um, the wife who lost her baby girl um, decided that she was going to go and take care of that gravesite. The original gravesite was made out of wood, or the headstone was made out of wood, and vandals destroyed it because people suck. So they actually did, they had a stone one made for this baby. I want to say it was 1852 or something like that. It was in 1800s. And I want to say it was 1852. But this woman took care of this grave to represent this baby that was lost at the same time her daughter was who passed away. So in honor of this baby and the land and the people that were here, she dedicated her life to taking care of his gravesite. Her baby is buried in the, I believe, the same area of Pete and Well. Okay. So there is a fence up around it with the headstone, and it's got some really cool flowers and plants and stuff inside this fenced in area. But somebody went and took and put their boat dock string right through the gate to the front. So yeah, some people aren't happy about that around here because they feel it was very disrespectful, which in all actuality, I believe it is very disrespectful. Right. Tommy's like, well, maybe there was a reason why they did this. Maybe the child, that was their favorite spot. Well, then that's why I looked it up. But I'm actually going to go over there and place some flowers. Every time we travel by there now, I'm always saying hi to the baby and so that nobody forgets, They say that once the last person who knows you is no longer there to say your name, that you're no longer. I don't want that baby to do that. There may not be a name on the headstone, but I'm still going to acknowledge that baby and the little girl,
But
and
you bring up a very interesting point, though, because just think about how many people in our lives that we've come across have passed on, and how often are they remembered? How often in some cases, if they were very, very close to you, but just in general passing, it's like you're right. The memory will just vanish.
See, I have so there is a cemetery not too far from here too that has some very old headstones. And what I used to do when I was younger is I would go to the nearest graves cemetery, and I would put flowers, or I would do something special for the graves that were right there. And I tried to take care of them and make them look nice. I did that for a short time, and it made me feel good. And I think that everybody should be remembered regardless of how old or how long it's been since you passed. And so, there, like you said, there's a lot of people who have passed on, in everybody's life. And once the last person that actually knew you is no longer there to share your story or to say your name or to acknowledge that you were there, you kind of just vanish. And so I feel that no matter what, you should be show some respect, and stuff like that. So I'm weird that way, but I told Tommy that I was gonna take some flowers and place them on the grave for the little boy and the little girl because it was very
Aw.
it was very heartbreaking. It was a very heartbreaking story, but in the end, it was a very touching, heartwarming story because she refused to allow anybody to forget that little boy,
Right.
and because she knew the grief of losing a child. They were around the same age, so she did everything in her power to make sure that that baby was respected and taken care of just as much as her baby was.
And that was her coping mechanism with it as
That was
well.
her coping mechanism. Yes, it was.
Aw.
So I mean,
Sad.
it is sad, but in the end, it was a very touching, heartwarming story because it just shows that not everybody back then was cold-hearted. So it gives us a little hope. A little hope. That there are still kind people, and the story it touched my heart, and so I am going to leave some flowers so that
That's a beautiful thing, and it's a way to enhance the memory of it, to
right
make the memory go on.
oh yeah, and we didn't even know, and this is where we passed that spot in the last 4 years. We've passed that spot so many times, never knew it was there until a friend of mine out here posted a picture because she was upset that these people did what they did. You have a whole shoreline or a whole area to put your dock, and you're going to put it right there? Like, really? So she was really upset about that. And I thought about it, and Tommy made a good point. We don't know the backstory of it. So when we were coming back out to the camper, I looked it up. And so it is in a book, one of the Wisconsin Wisconsin, Strange Wisconsin, I think it is. It's a book on the lore and history of Wisconsin in our area. So, so now I want to go get that book so I can read more about it, and then we'll have more to talk about for Wisconsin, because Wisconsin has a lot of strange things.
Well, that we have to make a show just on its own of strange happenings happening in your own town.
Well, we have the Beast of Briar Road that's not that far from us, where we live. So that on its own, I've never been on that road, but I want to go. We have Ed Gein.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Serial killer?
Yep. His house actually was torn down, but my friend Katie, who hooked me up with Ron to talk about the paranormal equipment. That's they're exes, but they do a show called X versus X. She's actually been to the property and done EVPs and done a bunch of ghost hunting there.
Ooh. I'm wondering if she found anything.
She goes to his grave too, or what's supposed to be his grave. And so, yeah, his headstone gets, every time there's a headstone that's put up or put,
They probably destroy it.
it gets destroyed. Yeah. But his property is, like, the house is no longer there, but people go there still to this day to do paranormal stuff there. So yeah, it's like Wisconsin's got a lot of crazy stuff, and that is not that far from us. Wisconsin is a very high paranormal, strange energy. And so, I mean, it's very beautiful here during the summer. Winter, it's too cold.
Yeah.
But we do live in a very beautiful area with rich
You could
history.
you could see how beautiful, like the birds are singing and everything. It's absolutely gorgeous
I
there.
wish I could have went live by the lake,
Aw.
because then you would really get to see beauty, because it's an absolutely beautiful lake. However,
Hello, Chew. Chew is waving
Hi.
hello and saying hi. How you
um,
doing, Chew?
but I just couldn't get the Wi-Fi to work over there.
Aw.
And so maybe one of these times we'll be able to get the Wi-Fi to go on over there or get it to work. And then you guys can see. Maybe I'll even go live from, on here with my phone so you guys can see. We actually had a storm that came through yesterday or last night, and I got a video of it. I'm going to put it up on my YouTube channel. But it was wild. Like, it was across the lake. And so it was so weird because I asked it just towards the end of it. I was like, can you give me just one more beautiful one? And it gave me one more beautiful one.
What was like lightning and stuff?
Yeah, the lightning show. And then went to the bathroom, came out of the bathroom, and there was an owl.
Oh.
And the owl actually had me cracking up because he sounded like he had a lot of bravado at the end of his hoot. And so I was like, okay. I'm like, we're getting eaten up by mosquitoes.
See,
but
you
give me
you are
one
a
more
bird.
good hoot. And
Your bird was. Did you get a photo, like a video of the?
no,
owl?
I didn't.
Aw.
We were getting eaten up, and I didn't know exactly where he was at. Otherwise, I would have. But Tommy and I were walking back from the bathroom, and I was like, just give me one more good one. And he gave me another,
See?
just one
Bird
more
with-
good one.
Owls are very, very mystical creatures. So
Yes, they are.
there's a lot of power and energy and
The
mystique about
wise
them.
old owl.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, being out here I love it. Nature-wise. I wish they had internet in the one extension, because it's absolutely gorgeous, the site. I fell in love with it, but they don't have the internet, unfortunately, over there yet. But it's got, I don't know if I can, hold on.
We got the bird.
Yeah, do you see him on top of the pop-up? He's over in the
Barely.
corner. Yeah, he was just hopping. Jose, come here.
Hi, Jose.
Jose, come here.
You can barely see him.
Oh, he just looked at me. I moved the camera and he looked at me.
Aw.
But yeah, that was Jose. He was on top of the camper, and I was trying to get it turned. And
You have Jose and I have Butterball that keeps popping up every now and then. He came out of the basket, so he's like in my arms right now. So here, Butterball, right there, Butterball. He's like pop up.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I had to feed him, so while we were talking, I gave him a little food. But
Sounds good. Yeah, I tried to eat before we went live, but yeah.
Butterball. Hi, babies.
Hi there, buddy.
He'll fall asleep right now. He's like,
His eyes are just they look so blue.
they are blue. I don't want him to lose the blue eyes.
He probably won't.
His father had blue eyes, but then as his father got older, they turned like brown. So I'm hoping he keeps his blue eyes.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, but
That would be cool.
we'll see what happens. My little Butterball. I'm trying everything to protect this one because we lost all the other
Right.
babies, and so far he's been extremely healthy, active. Just got to hand feed him constantly. So
Oh wow, that's pretty. Well, you know what? And if he's eating solid food too, that's pretty good too.
oh yeah, he's finally eating. I just have to like chop it up and mix it. Is that a cookie?
No, I made
Oh, it's a painted rock. It's a
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know what you were
a
looking up at
ladybug.
first.
They didn't do very good.
Do you do the rocka where you hide the rocks and people find them?
No, Joey does. These are just ones that I've done today. We got a bunch of them over by our tree, and then he did paint one for us to hide out here. And so I don't know. I haven't done it yet. I'm waiting for him to come back up so that he can he'll be here 4th of July weekend. And so I got like all my paints and stuff here. And well, this is just a section of my paints. Like I have some here. And
that's fun. I used to do the rock painting when I was in Stephenville, and I was part of a couple of groups around. There was Stephenville, Weatherford, and Granbury, and I would just paint the rocks and leave them everywhere.
yeah, that's what the people down from us do. They go and they collect rocks and then they paint them and then they just kind of put them around. I just do it for fun. It gives me something to do, be creative. You know, Tommy and Jasmine go out on the lake, and so I'm just kind of sitting here most of the time. So instead of just not doing anything constructive, I will clean the camper, pick up the outside. Not that it needs a whole lot, but just something to do, and then I will sit and paint and go from there. Like I have neons, I have glow in the dark paint. And
when I just went back to New York, I was shocked and so excited that I found one from Jersey, but it wasn't a rock. It turns out Jersey does seashells. They paint seashells, and so I found a Jersey, and I'm like, I'm bringing this back to Texas. But
there you go.
I posted it on the group, but I'm like, this is coming to Texas.
Funny.
I was so happy. I'm like, I found one.
Do you still do the painting of the rocks?
No, I don't. It helped when I was working on retail, like I was working at the store, because I would leave them at the store. The customers would pick them up and stuff like that. Now I feel like I don't go out as much as I should. So because I really don't go out, yeah. But I don't.
I'm going to be working on a butterfly one this week. And then for anybody out there who likes to paint, be it canvas or rocks or whatever it is, get a muffin pan.
Oh, for the colors to mix? That's cool.
Yeah, get a muffin pan because they're easy to clean. You can even let them dry out and you can turn them into like these little paint discs. Yeah. And then you can glue those to canvas and different designs and stuff with it. And that's what I do. Like if I use up, don't use all my paints, I just let them dry and then I'll pick them out and then I'll just glue them to whatever canvas or whatever I'm working on. And it takes a couple days for it to completely dry out. But I also use this tray too when I do my faux stained glass.
Cool.
And so, yeah, I try to do as much paint. I used to paint a lot more, and then things got really crazy for me. And things just were here and there. So I stopped. And now with my office going to be moving upstairs, I actually am going to have a area where I can set up my easel with my paints. Because I have a huge tote still at home full of paint.
Oh, that's great.
So I have some for here at the camper, and then I'll have some at home. I like the neon colors. I think that those are pretty neat colors. So and
those will work great in your black light when you put the black light on when your office is
and I have a glow in the dark. I have a glow in the dark that you paint over it, like these ones here. This has like glitter in it. And so I just painted all around with the glitter. And then I went and I painted the glow in the dark because it dries clear.
Right.
So now it'll glow at night. And then I did this one too.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah, and I did one where it's like a mountain scene. And then Joey did one with a praying mantis head.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then Jaslyn did, I don't remember which one she did. Because we did so many of them, I don't remember exactly which one that was her favorite that she did. I only know the praying mantis one because that was one of the ones he wanted me to hide, and I kept it.
No,
Because
that's
yeah, that's
fine.
the reason why I know which one that one is. But yeah, and then you get your little popsicle sticks for mixing and
Mhm.
making bird treats.
See, that's something I want to go back to is painting, or I want to try that mandala painting with the little dots, the mandala.
Oh, I haven't done that since high school.
Yeah, I want to try that one, but it
Yeah,
takes.
we did that in high school, and me and one of my best friends, Pablo, we used to sit in art class, and because he was a really good artist, and he's the one that showed me how to do it with the dots,
Mhm.
and I was like, my ADHD is too bad for this crap. I can't do this.
Yeah,
But
I wonder if I could focus on that because that's one of the things I get aggravated if I.
if you have like if you have ADHD and you find something that you're really like into and you focus on it, you forget about everything else around you. So it's just different things that I've tried to focus, and painting is just one of them. And I was really frustrated because I had to wait for my ladybug to dry, her eyes to dry, so I could do the second coat. So I was getting a little frustrated. It wasn't drying fast enough.
Aw. All right, so
Yeah.
guys, I'm thinking we're coming to the end of the show. Um,
Yes.
but a couple of announcements. So, like I said, we're going to postpone our guest. It's going to be Ron. He's a paranormal expert, and he's going to be discussing paranormal equipment. We're going to verify whether it's going to be next week or if it's going to be another show, but we'll get back to you on that. Other than that, any show that we do reschedule, we'll basically just put it to the end if anything
Right.
does get shift. And just keep in touch with the thumbnails. Will tell you exactly what's going on.
Right.
Do you have any announcements or anything you want to talk about?
We're camping.
Yeah. You know something? That's what it is. Go enjoy it. Watch the sunset. It's absolutely beautiful over there. You deserve
Right.
it. So that's why we're going to end this a little early.
Well, watch for my new video that I'm going to put up on my YouTube channel with the lightning storm that we had come
I
through.
I can't wait. Well, I don't like lightning, but I can't wait to see it because
Yeah, I have to wait till
that'd
we
be
get home
scary.
when we're home so that it can upload properly. But I might have to use that program that you have for the music.
I'm
Well,
I'm currently obsessed with it. I'm starting to do public service announcements, and so if anybody has been watching my channel, I did one on D&D, I did one on the Pride Festival, I did one on yoga. So I'm just doing like infomercials and having fun with it.
right. I mean, that's all you can really do is go have fun, do what you
Right.
got to do.
And And like I said, shameless self promotion. Tomorrow we are dropping our first episode of Maledictus. I'm so happy. It's a how long is it? It's like a 27-minute reading of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. But we put some commercials in it. We put some really cool stuff in it. And then after that, the next two episodes are going to be stories that we wrote. So it's our own personal stories. Um,
You should put it on a site called MyTune.
I think it is. We have a podcast special where there's like 9 different podcasts, so it's going to be streaming on various sites. It's just offhand I know it as "Love is all around
Wait,
you."
hold on, hold on. Oh,
iTunes. Well, yeah, we are going to be on iTunes as well. I
and
just
then I found some paranormal podcasts because it does podcasts, radio stations, stuff like that. And
we
uh,
we're doing this podcast bundle deal where every time you upload a podcast, it does it to all the different sites. So
oh, there you go.
it's kind of cool. So I don't know what all the sites are. I know Spotify is one of them. I know audio is another one. I believe iTunes may be another one. I'm not too sure.
Well,
But
this isn't iTunes. This is MyTuner.
it may be. I don't know. Like I
So
said, there's a bunch of them. But I wish I knew.
if I said or iTunes, I'm sorry. No, it's MyTuner.
No, I'm the one that said iTunes. So
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
just want to make sure.
that
So
was me. But yes, our first episode is going to premiere tomorrow at 1 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. So I'm excited about that. And we've already did 2 more episodes. So we're going to
Cool.
drop them every Friday for the time being. And unless we end up doing a lot more, then maybe we might drop more. But we're working on one a week for the time being. It's
Sounds
something.
good. I mean, you don't want to overdo it either. So
Yeah.
take it slow.
It's a lot of work. And I'm learning how to do sound editing. That was something I've never learned in my life. So got the soundboard editing with the little twisty knobs.
Yeah, Tommy's got a soundboard thing, and I look at that thing and I'm like, but he uses it to keep my voice down when we're in the same room on mics. 'Cause
Aw.
I will throw his mic off. For some reason, my voice, I get excited, it raises, and then I throw everybody else's mic off in the room.
My goal is, this is going to sound like a crazy goal. I'm now obsessed with 8D sounds, 8-dimensional sounds. I don't know if anybody has heard of it, but basically what it is when you listen to a song, it'll go back and forth from the left to the right, to the left to the right, and it's a very surreal, disoriented. So I want to do some videos or some music or something like that with the AD, and it depends on how you record it. So
Right.
we're going to be exploring some of that. 'Cause
Interesting.
It could be quite creepy. I mean, just imagine like you're hearing a sound coming from this way, and like a person's walking. It's
Was that Boss stereos do that? The speakers.
Yeah.
And yeah,
They
having
could-
a sound go from here, like it
Exactly.
behind you, and I'm like,
that could be, just think about that. If you're telling a scary story, you hear a knock
Yeah.
at the door and you have the sound effect coming from the one end, and then you hear the person creeping up and you hear the footsteps and it's like coming. That could be very, so that's something we're going to be exploring, but that's going to take me time because I'm just learning.
right. I understand that.
He's learning how clueless I am about computers.
You've never been somebody that, it's not that you're clueless, it's just not something that you were interested in and you're
Right.
learning.
Yes.
So better now,
Yeah.
or how's it? It's better late than never.
Right. So that's my newfound obsession. You're painting rocks. I'm making PSA videos and playing around with music and sound and stories.
I think you're what you've been doing is a lot better than me painting.
I had the painting rocks thing. I did it for about 2 years. I painted rocks and I hid them all over the place. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, this is our first seasonal here, or first, seasonal site here. So maybe next year I'll be playing with the sounds too.
Yes. So let's call it a night. We want to thank everybody for coming and attending, and we hope you guys have a great week. Next week, shameless self-promotion, is my birthday, so we are going to do a show. It'll be the birthday show.
Your birthday. It's your birthday.
We might have the guest on. It all depends. We'll figure out when he can come next. But everyone, have a great day. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Much love and be safe.
Bye-bye. And we are ending. I'm trying to end.